Welcome to Warriors Peace University, where we don't just talk about having it all, we live it. Welcome, everybody that's in person and online that's listening. Really just gonna we're gonna go over some things from the week, and we still can, but I'm gonna go with that have it all lifestyle. Have it all lifestyle. Like when you hear that in our culture, it's interesting because even I could imagine a church culture like, oh, shying away from it. He said, have it all. That sounds like such greed and being a part of this world. I want you to consider the have it all lifestyle is a higher level of living. It's a higher level of thinking, your highest level of being, or highest level of being and doing in body, being, balance, and business. So this have it all lifestyle is bringing this consciousness, this awareness to the things that God created us for, that he does want for us to have, that he created us to be in line with. And so the have it all lifestyle, we're just going to talk about the experiences of the difference of living in this purpose and passion, in this structure and accountability that brings clarity, that brings principles into your life. It brings a clear, defined pathway. And we'll talk about that, see what the experiences are here, because we've also experienced when we weren't living this way, when we weren't living the warrior way, when we were just living inside of culture, we also had that experience. So once you're living in culture and doing that, and then you step into the warrior's way, inside this warrior journey, experiencing this, there is a clear difference between regular culture and living this life. We are not playing the same game. And so we'll just talk about a few experiences and just kind of go from there. Brandon is new. He's got 20 plus years military experience. So plenty about discipline for sure. In that experience that so what do you got? Think. What do you feel?
Yeah, discipline is the foundation. Discipline is the foundation of my life. So new experience, man. Yeah. In a period of 10 years after leaving the Army, leaving that lifestyle, which was the majority of my life, 20 years,
Yeah, it's a good bit.
I've been in the Army more than I'd, been an adult. And then 10-year period of leaving that and coming to Warriors. I left the Army woke, not woke as as today, awakened, I guess today.
Yeah.
And then I fell asleep for 10 years, and finally got the calling. Thanks to Craig, my homeboy, and a little push by God to wake the hell back up. And this is where I have reawoken. Reawakened, I would say. But it's back to, the discipline of, Reveille wakes me up every morning. That's set in stone. My wife's like, what the hell is that? And I get up, and that's the start. And it's back to it. So having that structure, having that framework, that I know is there. I'm not completely knowledgeable of it yet, but knowing it's there, I can revert that back to my military life, and it's an easy transition. So being awake for 20 years, falling asleep, and waking back up is a great thing.
Yeah, that's it's beautiful. You and I have both that same experience of the military, like being able to, at least on the levels of discipline of what that is, right? And again, it's funny, I believe people picture discipline, and we talk about it here quite often. People say you live discipline, but it's this love love looks like discipline from the outside. And that's my experience in the military. There was certain definitely parts that I loved. And that part, I think really what it was serving. And it's so easy to go to sleep in this culture because once you left that serving, we enter into a culture like where you're only given the opportunity to be a victim. The military part, we come out, you're the victim, you have PTSD, and then you got to follow all those things. Everybody places that on you in some ways because of the military, and then it's very easy to grab a hold of. Like I mean, it's right there. And so we go from walking in honor and being a warrior and living that out and serving and that serving a bigger mission. Then you come on the other side, and all that you see over and over and over is victim mentality. And we left this place of serving, and it's like it's this other place of now self-serving. It's like, oh, well, what is it? And so that's what's interesting. Like I believe that waking back up is the mission. It was the mission of serving, the mission that you know. What's interesting now, though, what the warrior way truly brings light to is the military used us in a way to be disciplined and get their mission done, to get their purpose done, which was awesome. Okay, they were paying me, and like they kept me busy for that time period. What's amazing now is being able to take that same warrior spirit, that same warrior discipline and reality, wake up and walk in my mission, to walk in my purpose, to walk in my passion, and then truly take that same structure and accountability that they had us walking out, not just from 9 to 5.
Right.
Like it was from the moment you woke up before light to dark, and then you have all the other times when it's just even after dark. It's through the night. It's always. So it's like that whole mission, that purpose, the serving something bigger than you yourself, not 9 to 5, not just this like, oh, just like it a little bit. It's literally the lifestyle. And that's literally, I believe, on one level of what we experience here is the brotherhood, the tribe, but really like that depth of being something and serving something bigger than ourselves, the bigger mission, the bigger purpose. And we get to wake up and walk in our own purpose inside of this bigger mission, this bigger movement. And so, bro, you already got even that conversation right there, got my soul fired up because it's truly us choosing identity. Again, we talked on identity this week, but really embracing which identity are we going to embrace, the victim or the victor? And so, again, over and over, it's coming back to just again, even the idea of have it all lifestyle. What am I going to identify with? Is it the victim or the victor? What am I going to identify? Am I going to identify and give my power up or my certainty up to somebody else? Or finally realizing like this is who I am. I'm established in my faith. God has clearly spoke to me and called me into a path. I know that he's called me in that, and I know who I am inside of that, and I'm not the same as everybody else. And all of the noise keeps coming. Okay, they mean well, but I don't have to give up my certainty or my power to them like I did before. And so waking up is truly where I watch each man being able to find his own path, walk in his own calling, and wake up into this part. So again, this highest level of living is literally what the habit all lifestyle is. What's your experience, Andy? What you got?
I think you hit the nail on the head when you said taking the discipline and applying it to our personal missions. Because that's all we're doing. We're staying consistent, putting in work, and being intentional about the things that we want seen done that mean something to us. You know, all the time I talk about workout stuff and all that and body stuff. But within business, I go back right now with the place of was salesman for the roofing company. I would not be as confident as I am today, and not to say that I'm super out there like I know every single thing, but if I even go back to I go back to October when I started this, that guy pales in comparison to who I used to. The guy I am today, far not. But why is that? Because of the time dedicated into putting in an effort to accelerate my learning, my growth, seeing every opportunity instead of an obstacle. It's something that's helping me grow. I was speaking to one of my clients yesterday. As rough as this house has been to kind of get all situated, I'm so thankful for it because it has propelled me to grow that much more. And being able to shift the perspective of, oh, damn, this sucks, to like, yeah, it sucks in the moment, but there's times where I think to myself, like, bro, does this, doing the Fitbot app, does this app think I'm Superman? There's no way I can do this weight. But you know what? Some way or another, it gets done. And it's the same principle. Staying in that process to accomplish what it is that you want to accomplish. I'm thankful for it there. In my being, even finding ways to try to connect more, and now feeling it that it is applying more and more, you know, finding his peace, a peace that really transcends all understanding. I don't know what it is to be in a position where I feel like my life is on the line, where I have to call on this kind of peace. But I know I can take a breath and not go into something with the exasperation that I may have gone into it before.
Mm-hmm.
And also, there's getting ready to have a meeting at work, and when somebody came off to me a certain way, it was kind of just not defensive, but like I'm not going to just stand aside and just, kind of take the back seat. I've earned my position, and now my voice, I've earned the right to speak,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't have to sit back.
Mm-hmm.
And that just grows more and more
Yeah.
in every field,
Yeah.
in every domain.
Yeah, which is huge. For a man to have a voice in this culture right now is absolutely lacking. There's a lack of them speaking up and having a voice of operating from a place of not arrogance, but out of that power. It's in the military when we train, you start talking about the mission, then you'll walk through the mission, then you'll actually do the mission, then you'll do a live fire mission, and then that was just within the day. And then you start at night. Then you do a walkthrough. Then you do a blank fire. Then you do a live fire, at night. And so that is exactly how I see us training what we're doing every single day. It's these little microcosms building power inside of it. So we are training that, but it's the training. It's the creating this certainty in all parts of this. And so creating that certainty so that you're able to operate from a place of that power. I already know that I've taken care of my body. I've already taken care of my being, and I know who I am. And I've been through this over and over and over. I know where my center is. Maybe not every situation knowing, but I can navigate that situation knowing even if the world on the outside is melting down, literally on the inside, I'm okay. I can feel the connection with even the emotion that's happening, which I used to not be able to do. But being able to feel it, know it, but still be okay with it, and so it's creating that power and operating from that power and that certainty. And so, again, I love that, and creating that over, again, not just body, but being able to know who you are within being, the balance of who you are and establishing within your family where you stand, and they have a certainty of knowing who you are and the way that you live. Um, and then the same within business, having the opportunity. I know that you're such a servant, but then also knowing that you have a voice that's coming from a man other people don't know you, but um, you're in sales now. Like you're a man that rejection, which none of us like rejection, but that was one of your deals. Like rejection was like one at the top of the list that was derailing you from you being you. I don't want to be rejected, so I'm going to give up every part of who I am so that I can try to please you, which now you are stepping into your true identity, having your own voice, listening to the voice of God, and then having your voice. You've clearly been able to see that over the years. And so you step into a sales position. I think it's so funny because it's like the humor of God. Like, let me grow you into this other place and put you in a position that you would have ran from before. And then that's only going to, this obstacle of learning how to do that is only going to propel you forward into the next lanes and next levels that are coming. And maybe that'll take, I mean, I'm pretty hard-headed. Most of my lanes and levels like that take 4 years. Maybe you'll master it within a year. Maybe you already know how to do the sales and do that. And rejection and doubt will be a thing that is way in the past and won't be derailing you. A lot of that stuff takes, for me to retransform this being of this higher level of being, this higher level of thinking, it takes me usually 3 to 4 years to being able to do that, to get rid of this scarcity lifestyle that people live in, this fear-based scarcity lifestyle, and literally walking in abundance and prosperity and being able to move forward. So, huge. It's been awesome being able to watch you do that. Andy, awesome. I love it.
And such is the truth, right? We need to go through those obstacles because without those obstacles, we can't step into that next position, that next role. So the more we shy away from it, the more we really are just hindering our progression forward, our appointed path. So you really have to consider, is this not wanting to go step into this next phase of life really going to be what helps me get to where I want to go? Or is it just going to shelter me from grabbing the experience that I'm going to need maybe even later on down the road?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it's
at the deeper level.
Yeah.
Yes, sales will be awesome. Being able to sell will be awesome, but being able to not care at the bit of fear or doubt, being able to recognize, yes, I have fear or doubt right there and notice it, but then being able to truly step in and do whatever that next calling is. And so it's interesting because as you step in and have these experiences, there's a part of our flesh in whatever area it is that is still hell bent on bringing us back into that lifestyle that we operated from before. And we truly have this tempting and testing as we're growing. We call it transformation versus change. Most people try to change, never really change nothing. We're transforming over time and being able to transform, then be tempted and tested, and not go back to the same operating system that we were operating from before. And so this experience and this tempting and testing is truly is what's amazing. Whether it's about the food you eat and you only been on a diet for just a little bit of time, and then every single time you reach your goal, then you want to go back. Well, that's not what we're really going for. We're going for true transformation in a different operating system, right? Not having to do that. The same from sales. Every single time sales, you get these huge experiences and this growth, and you got this certainty about yourself, and then all of a sudden somebody bothers you or triggers you or whatever, and then next thing you know, you're doubting yourself, you're uncertain, and then you're going back to your old ways of uncertainty, of doubt, of fear, and operating from that place. And so this is why I love this journey.
I think I do love that that part of how do you, or I guess for myself, going into those times where I've put in so much work to lose a majority of it, to have to get back, fall off to get back on. call myself the fall off king because it happens all the time. But it reveals that as long as you stick to the principles, it's going to take. Don't worry about the rest. Stay in the principles, right? Because most of January, nothing was really moving, nothing was really popping. But you still go in and do what you set yourself out to do. Stay in those principles, even if it means you hitting every single door knock and not anything comes from it. Something was done. You stayed in the principles. You remained doing what you could do. And as long as you stay in that, as long as I stay working out, I say, right? As long as I stay doing that, then the needle shouldn't go too crazy. But then again, if I start eating crazy, then it's going to.
Yeah.
But again, staying in the principles. What's working for me is tracking my food. So as long as I stay in that principle, chances are I won't see a lot of this, and more so a lot more, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
So it's stay in the principle above all.
But being able to watch that within your business though as well too. If it is working within my diet, right, and you're getting those and it's working, then it's working, which is awesome. Then stay in there. But being able to notice if something's not working and be able to notice what's not working, and then I let you know, like my whole January, yes, it was awesome. I reached goals, but towards the end, clearly could see that my goals, each one of them were kind of going in their own way. Now recreated every part of February, and then now everything seems in alignment, and we'll keep seeing what works and moving in that direction. And so whether again, all these experiences, whether it's body, being, balance, and business, learning what's working, what's not working, why it's not working, leave that behind, and then being able to truly move forward. How many years did I waste just drinking? It wasn't working for me, but I wasn't willing to let go. And that's really most men in this pit. They're not willing to let go of where they're at. They're not willing to grow and then go. And so it's this constant place, right? Letting go, grow, and go. So what you got?
And I wish I would have had this in the Army. You know what I mean? I
Bro.
would have never got out. I had this kind of structure with the already established structure
Yes.
and being able to, pass that on to my guys, to train my guys in this.
Dude.
That would have been amazing. I
Yep.
would have been like a sergeant major of the world.
Yes.
You know what I
It
mean?
clearly, I can clearly see that this establishes the standard of living of what we were expected to do is higher than what we're expected to do here, right? Like in regular culture. So that was already established. But if you had something that was in every part established, this huge part of this purpose, but with structure, having within that purpose comes such power from there, but then the structure brings such this strength, like everything together really goes quite well. And so, um, the time in the military would have been so much better. Um, but I think we're out of time. Like you can clearly see most men, again, if they watch or listen to what we talk about, okay, maybe they can kind of hear a little bit of a difference. But until you experience this, and what's happening within the tribe itself, they truly, how would you know the difference that we're telling you this is a structured way of life that is completely different with framework that actually flow together, right? It's totally different.
It is. Yeah. You know, sorry, I keep talking about the military, but it's part of my life.
Mhm.
We had a mission, right? Every time there was an objective that was, within the overall mission, and now in Warriors, it's become the mission is you.
Yeah.
The objective is your body, your business being, and the overall mission is what God God wants you to do.
It's so
Follow that
interesting,
path
though,
to get to your objective.
because the mission seems like it's us, which is amazing because then you're operating from that power and that certainty and everything. But really, it's so selfless as well. It's so that I can operate at a higher level in every part of my life for who I show up for. And so, yeah, I wake up super early so that I can operate from that power. Well, who benefits? My wife. Who benefits? My kids. Who benefits? My bank account. Who benefit? Like every part, which then everything else. If your bank account is seriously, people want to be like, well, I mean, I don't want it to be all about money. Well, the church runs off of money. Everything literally runs off of money. And a man will be known by his fruit. So as you're pouring into each one of this, it all works. It is very encompassing, which is beautiful. Beautiful. Um, yeah, definitely the highest level of living is what we're talking about. Have it all lifestyle is not a greed thing. It's not a striving thing. It is literally having the power that is connected with God. And that is that spiritual part. That's the heart and the center of who I am. And staying there in love, operating from that place and not fear, but then also operating from my own power within reality, my own certainty within reality, the identity that we talked about. And so this is, again, it's a higher level of living, a higher level of thinking, a higher level of being and doing. And again, it's not in a selfishness way, it's in a way that everybody else benefits from the work that we put in. And that's why we do it. It literally is not so we get ahead. It's so that our families can walk in their purpose and passion. You know, there's nothing better than watching your wife thriving in what she wants to. My wife used to have to take care of me, big time. She used to have to make all the decisions. Everything basically fell on her. Um, you know, and if we were going to go to church, it was because she wanted to and said I had to. If we were going to do anything, that's what it was. If it was apart from drinking, and you know, so totally different now. And then you get to the levels, even when you're not drinking and doing drugs, what are you escaping to? There's those same levels you can clearly see. I'm escaping to sitting on the couch. I'm escaping to spending time on my phone. I'm escaping to go and spend time in the garage. I'm escaping to do all these other things rather than walking in relationship and responsibility. And the more connection we're in this place, there is not a have to, there is literally a desire to walk in relationship and responsibility. I used to run from that. And so to be able to fully embrace that at the levels that we do now, at the expanding that happens here, this expansion process, we laugh about it in the mornings. Like stuff that we do now that I do easily now, there's no way I could even imagined that I would be doing this much a year ago. There's no way. It's unreal.
I don't know about you, but it still feels like there's still a little bit more that can be done throughout the day. And then I tell most people, like the other day, I told somebody, they asked me, oh, all right, oh, how was your day? Yeah, it was good, you know. She's like, oh, yeah, I had a great day, you know. I went out, I wanted to go see a project, I wanted to go door knocking, I wanted to go do this, I wanted to go do that. She's like, whoa, you had a productive day. And I was like, well, yeah, I guess that's just how my days are, you know.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the norm,
The
right?
norm. The norm.
What more can I do tomorrow?
It's so crazy. But when we understand all of those parts, the expansion continues. Once you know all those parts and you're that organized, then it's easy to be able to lead others inside of that. It's easier to be able to task them out and keep that organized.
Well, granted, that day I was particularly behind because I had some stuff that I had to catch up throughout the week. So, you know, that's probably why that day kind of blew up as much as it did. But, you know, hey, that's what, you know, Saturday's there. Saturday's still a work day for me. So Saturday's there. So if I need to catch up on the things I need to catch up before I go work, then,
Yeah.
it has to get done. These are the things I said I wanted done. So unless I'm just lying to myself and I'm just doing this to keep myself to entertain other people, then
Yeah.
they're going to get done.
Yeah. But it's a huge part when you're able to. I am such a firm believer in we truly create. That victim mentality is it's everybody else's fault. I live where I live. I'm busy because I have to be. It's everybody else's fault. Everything else is coming down. When you truly step into the victor mentality, when you step into abundance, when you step into ownership of what that is and you create, like we create, I create this life and I understand that. And the more I step in with intention, with an intensity, I create this place. And so my life now, 4 years later, after separating from, from a job, is completely created in a different way. And so, which is interesting. It's as we started saying, it's all faith and no fear. But man, there is, to be honest, there's a lot I can always in some place sense this doubt. There's doubt if it's going to still happen. It's doubt if it's going to move forward. It's doubt, like, but to recognize that and then still step into faith and understanding in the identity I have and have the courage every day to still wake up and do what we do whether anybody listens to a podcast. And then how long we've been doing this podcast, 8 months or whatever, trying to get whatever, just put it out. And then finally, last night somebody says, hey man, I've watched those podcasts. This is what this has been my experience. Now I'm pulling out my Bible and now I'm doing this stuff. And it's like, well, we haven't known that for 8 months and we're still doing it for the one. And so, for the one, whether that's just myself, the one being my family, the one, whatever, the other individual that's out there that we can reach and step into this, right? And so it's
Exactly what I was going to say. They're out there.
They are. Yeah, it's beautiful.
Just got to touch them.
And then they show up like yourself and step in with fully ready, like, let's go. Like, it's an amazing experience. One more thing. That's why it's on the other side. It's like once somebody steps in and experiences what's going on, most men that are here have been here 6 months, a year, 2 years. Like it is something that you don't experience in culture. This connection and this purpose. It's amazing. So it's pretty good. It's definitely hard to explain. It's definitely hard to communicate. It's definitely something that you truly have to experience. Have to. So awesome. Anybody got anything else? We'll start closing it out. What you got?
I think I'm opening the door to chapter 3 and like year 3.
Yes.
It's coming up either today or the 20th, one of the 2 days.
No.
Might be today. I don't know. Coming up, shoot.
Stepping into year 3. Golly, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. I'm on like year 5. I've been here since the beginning. I've been here since the beginning, but I remember it started out in that first room and we went through a lot of changes over the years. It's been beautiful. I mean, I had shut it down. I know God told me to shut it down one time because I had a bunch of men super established in church across the board. Each one of them is highly respected. But God could clearly show me that I desired to change and move forward. And each one of them were stuck. They were not wanting to embrace that there was going to be change and there's going to be more of like, we're not just meeting to have a Bible study. There's going to be action. And I could clearly see like, no, they don't want any part of that. And it sucked. So, and really he told me to shut it down and I shut it down. He didn't reveal that until later, but I could sense it, but I couldn't communicate it. And so later on, that's where God really just kind of revealed, way to go for keep being obedient, way to shut it down when I told you to shut it down and do that. And then he revealed, like, this is what I'm stepping you into. And that sense that you were feeling was correct. None of them were going to move forward. Fine.
Shift.
Lift and shift. And so it's been a continual part. We done things a certain way for a long period of time and then being able to step in and change things. And now, you know, it's interesting. The other part of that, though, the more that I have done and been accountable to what God, I know that he's leading us in. And we've each been able to become more accountable. My day becomes more accountable to who he is calling me to be, every part of that. But it's interesting. It's been closer relationship to God, reading from the Bible, being able to study and do that every single day, being able to truly embrace and communicate that God is real and he should be established in your life. And we're going to walk you through that at whatever level you are. Like, it doesn't matter. We'll walk in relationship with you wherever you're at. That has come full circle that is what we're doing. And we have the least amount of people, the fullest action we've ever been, the fullest, biggest voice that we're stepping into, the most bold and most confident and the most clear with the most principles established in biblical, ready to move forward at a time when there's the least amount. But there's such a huge vision in that. Like, I'm getting ready to go to council, Warrior Council. And as we talk about, there are thousands of other men that have been stepping into this as well. And so seem like we're in a little hole, but God's got a bigger picture, much bigger. So, part of a huge movement. I believe God is truly, I believe Jesus is in the church. Salvation can be found in the church, but Jesus in some ways now in our culture is leaving the church and being truly established in this culture. I believe more and more clearly defined. On one side you're going to choose, and it clearly is defining if you're not choosing. The devil owns the fence, and so you can go ahead and ride the fence, but the devil owns it. And so if you're not in the action of the purpose inside of that, in the action of it, not good. Not good. So awesome. Anything else? I think we're right on time. Good. Awesome. Andy, will you pray us out and then close it?
Father God, thank you for just another miraculous day, another miraculous morning, another moment to just share together, come and speak on the things that you're revealing to us and how you are changing our lives and allowing us to step into more and more. Continue to give us this fervor to not look back and to know that the next horizon is there because you've placed it there. It's on us to take the steps there. Thank you for your love, your grace, and your mercy always. May it follow us throughout this day. In your holy name I pray. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Beautiful. Go out and conquer the day with Christ, man.